And we'll welcome you back to the National Training Center here in Clearmont for the 2012 FHSAA Softball Finals. We're on our second 2A semifinal of the day right now between the Pine Castle Christian Eagles out of Orlando, a record of 22-7, coached by Mark Richard, and the Munroe Bobcats out of Quincy and Gadsden County in the Panhandle with a record of 15-6. Along with the head coach of Winter Springs High School softball team, Mark Wilmot, I'm Marty Paulman, welcoming you back to Clermont. And Coach, welcome, but I know you're no stranger to the National Training Center, as you brought your team here the last 2 years, state semifinal 2 years ago, at a state championship game appearance last year in Class 6A. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Marty. I'm glad to be here. Hopefully I brought some good weather with us.
Well, it's not raining, so that's already an improvement. And we have had one of those days here. We played the first inning, and we'll go ahead and get to the starting lineups for Pine Castle Christian. We'll tell you about it in a minute, but leading off and playing shortstop for Pine Castle Christian, number 5, Emily Sarasone, pardon me. She is going to be one to watch, heading to Auburn University. Batting second and playing third base is number 4, Becca Carr. Hitting third pitching is number 8, Kaylee Bitterman. Batting fourth and playing second base is number 3, Lissa Richard. Hitting fifth and catching, number 25, Casey Gerhard. Batting sixth in center field is number 00, Shelby Caniglio. Batting seventh in right field, number 22, Alex Thomas. Hitting eighth, the designated player is number 10, Ashley Gerhard, a 7th grader. And batting ninth and playing left field, number 12, Anna Heffelbauer. And playing flex today, not in the lineup, but playing first base, is Audrey Smith. So Pine Castle Christian is the visiting team. They will hit first. We'll give you the Munroe lineup here in just a few moments. So we are ready for softball. And first of all, Coach, talk a little bit about this leadoff hitter here, Emily Sarasone.
Well, Emily has been playing since about, I think, the 6th grade for them. Has been at least in the 3 state championship teams for them. Mm-hmm. She is heading to Auburn, and she is absolutely the real deal. Her batting average looks pretty gaudy at over 600, but she actually she got under that one a little bit. But she
high
plays
fly ball to center, and the catch made by Ramsey Higdon. I was going to say she's batting .686 coming in. Yeah. And does pop up on the third pitch for the first out. Usually
when you see something like that at the 2A, 3A, 1A level, you're thinking that perhaps they're a real good player against not very good competition, or not always good competition, but she has actually done this against 8A pitchers.
That pitch gets back to the backstop. 1-0 to Becca Carr.
6 and 7. We played her 2 years ago. She just gave us absolute fits. Absolute fits.
Yeah, Becca Carr is the third baseman out at the plate. She's hitting .345 with a home run, 25 RBIs. As Pine Castle Christian, it's .349 as a team. They have 212 runs scored, 189 RBIs. As the pitch now misses 2-0.
Becca this is her 7th year on the varsity team. She's been here with Emily the whole time, and she's going to play at Southeastern University. It's a brand new program out at Lakeland.
It's a little bit outside now, 3-0. Pine Castle Christian state champs in 2006, 2007, and 2010 under their coach Mark Richard, 51 years old, graduate of Northeast Missouri State University in his 12th year at Pine Castle Christian, and nearing 200 wins as the coach there. As the count's 3-1 now to Becca Carr. We mentioned Sarasone heading to Auburn. There's a pop on. Oh, what a play by the shortstop heading out into center field.
Yeah.
What a play there by Caitlin Sermons. She makes the catch on the little soft pop by Becca Carr, and that's 2 quick outs.
As a coach, you appreciate the effort out of that shortstop on going back and making that play and the focus that she had to pull that in.
The Munroe Bobcats out of Quincy in the Panhandle, Gadsden County, are coached by Mark Allen. He's in his 5th year. A record of 78-25. Their first FHSAA Finals appearance, as Quincy on their way, or Munroe on their way to the Final Four, defeated Calvary Christian from Ormond Beach 9-0, Osceola Christian 7-3, and Academy at the Lakes 3-1 to advance to Clermont. Here is Kaylee Bitterman, the pitcher today, and takes the pitch outside, and it's 2-0.
Munroe must be having a lot of fun with their first trip. I remember ours, and we just enjoyed it.
2-0 the count outside for ball 3, and Academy of the Lakes and Land O'Lakes. So they Munroe beating a couple of teams over from Ormond Beach and Land O'Lakes on their way to the state semifinals. And for Pine Castle Christian, they beat Faith Christian 18-0, Geneva 17-0, and All Saints Academy 6-0. So that's 41-0 in 3 games as they won the Region 2 tournament. District 6 champions. Quincy was the runner-up in District 1, losing to Osceola Christian, but then beat them in the rematch in the regional semis. So Munroe had to go on the road for a while. In fact, they won 2 of their 3 games on the road. It's 3-2 full count now to Kaylee Bitterman.
Corballo's made a couple good pitches to even the count back up.
And the pitch is inside for ball 4, and that is Haley Kerbali in the circle for Munroe today. And she is a senior. Give you her most recent numbers here in just a moment as the walk gets the runner to first base. Bitterman goes to first with 2 outs. That'll bring up Lissa Richard, the second baseman. Kerbali 15-6, her 22nd start of the year. 111 innings pitched, allowed 68 hits, 33 earned runs, 26 walks, a 2.08 ERA with 178 strikeouts. Want to know the count now to Richard. She's hitting .453, that's all, with 24 RBIs.
That's good, too. She's the youngest daughter of Coach Mark. There we go.
Hit into left field. That's a base hit. And heading to third is Bitterman. She will get there standing up. And now Pinecastle Christian with a walk and a single. They have first and third with 2 outs.
Pinecastle very aggressive on the bases there with 2 outs.
And heading to second is Richard on the throw in. So now second and third with 2 outs. And now Pinecastle trying to get something going. Casey Gerhard, the catcher, will hit. And she's at 388, 20 RBIs. So the winner of this game will play Grandview Prep tomorrow afternoon at 4:05 for the 2A state championship game. That's in for a strike 0-1 to Gerhard. Earlier today, that game started between Grandview Prep and Sheridan Hills Christian at noon. We played about 20 minutes, and then it rained. It was then 6-2. Grandview Prep as that's fell up to the right out of play. Look out over there in our van. You got a softball in there. It's
one for the fans.
0-2. Looks like it bounced right in there. Nope, just missed. All right. It was 6-2 when the rain hit. They moved it to field 3, and then Grandview Prep scored 12 more runs as it's foul right in front of the plate. So it was an 18-run first inning over on field 3, and that was a 19-2 final in 2.5 innings. And then our second game in 6A, we had another rain delay in the bottom of the first, and I had to move that to field 3, so we couldn't bring that game for you as well. And that was in 6A. That was a 4-0 win for Pembroke Pines Charter over Lakewood Ranch. So they will play for the 6A title tomorrow night at 7:05 against the winner of our late game tonight between Niceville and New Galley. Hit to third. Nice play. Backhand throw is in time, and the tag made over there by Georgie Brandeman at first. Good play by Anna Jones at third base to knock it down. And Gerhard is out 5-3, and Munroe gets out of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, no errors, and 2 left on base.
That could have been a lot worse than it was.
It could have been. They tried to get a 2-out rally to Pinecastle Christian, but it's no score as Quincy Munroe will come up for the first time in the bottom of the first inning. The lineup for the Munroe Bobcats, who are 15-6. Leading off and catching is a freshman number 9, Kay Fletcher. Batting second at shortstop, number 15, Caitlin Sermons. Hitting third is the pitcher, number 13, Haley Corbali. Batting fourth and playing left field, number 12, Mary Pat Thomas. Look at the rest of this team. 7th grader. Batting fifth at third base, number 23, Anna Jones, a freshman. Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 20, Ramsey Higdon, a freshman. Batting seventh in right field, number 21, Emily Harris, a 6th grader. Hitting 8th at first base, number 25, Georgie Brandeman. Then you got a senior in there. And then batting 9th, then playing second base, number 5, Khadijah Glenn, a freshman. So look at the youth.
Yeah, they could make a lot of trips here. That's something you like to see.
Yeah, that is, you've got a 6th grader, a 7th grader, a few freshmen in there, a couple of seniors. And the defensive alignment for Pinecastle Christian at first base is Audrey Smith. At second, it is Lissa Richard. The shortstop, Emily Sarasone. Becca Carr at third base. In the outfield, Anna Heffelbauer in left field. Shelby Caniglio in center. Alex Thomas is in right. Casey Gerhardt behind the plate. And Kaylee Bitterman is in the circle. Kaylee Bitterman is 14-5. This will be her 23rd appearance, her 20th start with 3 saves. 120 innings pitched, allowed 87 hits and 38 earned runs. 25 walks, 124 strikeouts, and a 2.22 ERA. And I've noticed in softball, too, and this is about the 5th year I've been coming here to do the finals, even in that time, the days of the sub-1 ERA in softball have kind of gone away. You still see it with some pitchers, but really this game has become much more offensive, not only at the high school but also at the college level of softball.
Well, the kids are getting bigger and stronger. My team, probably 75% of them are on the school weightlifting team also.
Wow, okay.
And so they get out there and they hit hard. And like I told you earlier with the game tonight, we had some game changers, and some of these kids can just really put the bat on the ball.
Kay Fletcher one-hands one. It's a bunt. Throw, though, made in time. Nice play down there by the catcher Gerhardt behind the plate as Kay Fletcher was trying to get on base. Little one-handed bunt, but a good throw by Gerhardt to first in time for out number 1.
You see the approach by Munroe to get some little ball going and try and get on, put some pressure on the defense. We saw in the top of the first that pop flies only result in having to make one play, where that ground ball they had to make 3, and they executed well.
Here's Caitlin Sermons, the shortstop, with 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the first for Munroe. And hit softly to second. That's an easy play over there for the second baseman, Alyssa Richard. And quickly 2 outs for Munroe here in the bottom of the first. Mark Allen is a graduate of Florida High in Tallahassee and Florida State University in his 5th year. And again, for Munroe, they were district runners-up in 08 and 09, district champs in 2010, and this year as a district runner-up, making it to their first Final Four. Their farthest appearance was last year, or 2010, pardon me, making it to the regional semifinals.
And like we said earlier, with all the young players, they may be coming back quite a bit.
Haley Corbali, the pitcher, now hits 1-0, is hit into right field. It's going to be a hit, but they got to play it first. The throw got away up the line. It's backed up by the catcher Gerhardt as it got past Audrey Smith at first. And Alex Thomas got on that ball pretty quickly in right field and tried to make the throw, but Corbali will get a base hit with 2 outs in the first.
And that's part of the fast pitch game that you don't see in the boys' baseball.
That's
They're
right.
Throwing them out from right field.
With the field being much smaller, you definitely get a chance. And you'll see it, well, in baseball, you'll see it maybe once or twice every year or so.
If I'm running, you'll see it.
Me too, maybe. Here's Mary Pat Thomas, the left fielder. Takes the first pitch low for a ball, 1-0.
I think I saw it happen to Rusty Staub back in the day.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Probably would have happened to a guy like, we were talking about Andre Dawson or somebody later in his career. Though he hit the ball so hard. As it's 1-1 now, to 2-0 to Mary Pat Thomas, who's hitting .380 with 10 RBIs. Runner at first, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first for the Munroe Bobcats. On the inside corner for a strike, and it's 2-1. Well, the breeze has picked up now.
Yeah,
the sun
nice.
has gone behind the clouds, and
You guys are welcome.
yeah, thanks. If you can bring some more tomorrow and Friday, we'd welcome it. As we've had a delay every day now, today too. In fact, the 2-1 is on the outside corner this time, and it's even now 2-2.
Kaylee can really locate her spots. I mean, she can hit her spots, and that makes her very effective. She's not overpowering. She has a very good changeup and then very good location, and it's really tough to stay on balance.
2-2 hit foul off to the right and out of play. It remains 2-2. Got a good crowd on hand.
Yeah.
As Pinecastle Christian nearby in Orlando, bringing a good amount of folks over. But the Munroe fans here as well from Quincy. 2-2. It's hit softly to second. Richard has it on to first in time. And a 4-3 put out ends the bottom of the first for the Munroe Bobcats, who pick up a hit, no runs, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We now head to the second inning. No score between Pinecastle Christian and Munroe in this 2A state semifinal here on the FHSAA network. We're at the National Training Center here in Clermont, Florida, Lake County, our 3rd year of having the Final Four here in Clearmont. And Marty Paul may be joined by Coach Mark Womond from the Winter Springs team, Winter Springs High School. And Coach, I know tough to talk about it, but Talk a little about your team too. I know a tough loss this year to end at Lake Howell in the regional semis, but you were here the last 2 years.
Right. We a lot of the kids came back. We had some talented seniors that got us a long way. We finished up 26-3, with 2 of those losses being extra innings to Lake Howell, who's a very, very good team and matches up very well against us in our district. And then another loss to Gulliver Prep in the Kissimmee Classic. But we had a real good year. All 3 of my seniors are going to go play ball somewhere. We won the Florida-Alabama shootout. We're district and conference champions, and so a little bit disappointed in not getting back, but it's really difficult.
Yeah,
really difficult. We saw, how big it was for the Patriots to win in football for 2 years. It's just it's difficult, and teams like Palm Beach Gardens didn't make it back. Braden River got put out early, and so there were some really, really good teams.
We start the top of the second, and the first pitch of ball to Shelby Caniglio, the center fielder, and they count 1-0. And I know your team moving over to 7A this year. You mentioned Lake Howell, which knocked you out 1-0, then lost to Childs in the regional final, went to Tallahassee and lost 5-1. That's going to be another game to watch as it's grounded to second.
Yeah.
Throw to first in time as we move to 7A Friday night. Childs and Bartow. That should be a lot of fun. Bartow coming back. I was a 5A finalist a year ago.
Yeah, Bartow has a lot of tradition, a lot of good ball over there.
A lot of state titles.
Yeah, well, they seem to keep doing it. We're hoping to keep our program going. We've had real good success the last 4 years with these seniors, and they've won over 100 games, the class of 2012. Of course, they had help with the younger kids. And I have some real good players coming back, so we're hoping to make a run next year too.
So 1 out as Caniglio grounds out to second. Here's Alex Thomas, the right fielder. She pops this one foul to 1-0. That's going to make it in that little space where the net has been pulled up
Everybody's looking.
For our friends from Bright House Network, who will be bringing you all the state championship games this week live on TV. They'll have the state title games tomorrow night starting at 4:05 with Class 2A as Thomas takes the pitch inside 2-1. And we are live streaming all week here on the FHSAA network. Every game, semifinals and finals, of course, weather permitting, every game.
In beautiful Clearmont, Florida.
Yes, we are.
It's nice right now.
It is. It's cooled off nicely. Really a great complex here. They basically dug some softball fields out of a giant hill or valley here. As it's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, they take really good care. Really good care of their fields. They drain well and they play well.
Just one of the mainstays of this field, Dot Richardson. She's here, a former Olympic gold medal softball player. Also, she's a doctor, neurosurgery.
Yeah, sure is.
Brilliant woman, and she has been involved with this complex along with Bob Borak. He's definitely been big as well and bringing this FHSAA finals to Clearmont, the 3rd year we've had them here. A complex that's only been here probably less than 10 years.
I think so.
So it's full count 3-2 to Thomas. And it's hit softly into left field. Now moving in, making the play, is the left fielder. That's Mary Pat Thomas for the second out, and quickly 2 outs for Pine Castle Christian. Defensively for Munroe at first base, Georgie Branneman. The second baseman is Khadijah Glenn. At third base, Anna Jones. The shortstop, Caitlin Sermons. In the outfield, Mary Pat Thomas in left. The center fielder is Ramsey Higdon. The right fielder, Emily Harris. And behind the plate, Kate Fletcher and Haley Carbali is in the circle. First pitch to Ashley Gerhardt is in for a strike, 0-1. So a good start so far for Carbali, who left 2 on in the first for Pine Castle. And hit softly to short on one hop. The throw to first in time. Play made over there by Caitlin Sermons, and Pine Castle goes quickly, 1-2-3 in the second.
Yeah, nothing's been hit hard. She's keeping them off balance and not allowing them to get there.
So nothing across for Pine Castle Christian here in the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Pine Castle nothing and Munroe nothing here in this 2A softball semifinal on the FHSAA network. And as you mentioned too, you've had a chance, I guess, to play this Pine Castle Christian team. Them being from the Orlando area, you probably know. I know you know a good amount about this team. They won a state title 2 years ago, and they've really built an excellent program. 3 state championships since 2006.
Well, they're coached real well. Mark does a good job with them, and this year in particular, they've dealt with a lot of injuries and still managed to beat some much bigger schools. 2 years ago, the church that had the school was actually didn't have any financially in trouble, and they almost lost their entire school. But they rallied, the parents rallied, and they have a nice complex, a nice school off Orange Blossom Trail. They built a softball field almost like this on land given to them, or leased to them by UCF. So they have a football field, a baseball field, and a softball field out there, and we got a chance to play on one of their third or fourth games, and it was really played well. The grass was grown in. It was level. It was really a nice field.
Well, in 2010, you're right. They won the state championship, and about a month later, they didn't know if there was going to be a school. And sure enough, they have been able to come back and start at that new campus like you just mentioned. So the softball success continues as well as Pine Castle Christian. They built a new school, I guess, the church that they used to be in. Yeah. So now they have moved on as the first pitch is a strike to Anna Jones, the third baseman for Munroe. 0-1 Munroe. No score here in the bottom of the second. And hit softly back to the backstop, and now it's 0-2 to the third baseman for Munroe. Looks clear right now. Let's just hope that continues.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an anti-rain dance in a little bit. Just don't put the cameras on, because will not be pretty.
The pitch misses outside, and it's 1-2 now to Thomas. Anna Jones, pardon me. And outside corner, strike three. Jones, 355 with 15 RBIs coming in. Takes called strike three. First strikeout today for Kaylee Bitterman. There's one out.
Her change of speed is really, it shows you don't have to be a hard thrower to be successful. If you hit your locations and change your speed and go up and down, you can keep your team in a lot of games.
And hit foul back to the screen by Ramsey Higdon. It's 0-1. The center fielder for Munroe. Looking at Pine Castle's records, the first 4 years they were 9-1-15, 13-7, 14-4, 9-12. When they really started turning around in 2005, swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2 to Higdon. 13-7 in 2005 regional semis, 24-4 in 2006 state champs. 26-4 in 2007 state champs, 16-9 in 08 regional quarters, 20-7 in 2009 regional finalist, 24-7 in 2010 state champs, 21-7 in 2011 regional semifinalists. So they've made it to the regionals every year since 2004, and then this year 20-7 and back in the state semis. Pretty consistent.
Pretty lot of hard work goes into getting that kind of tradition.
2-2 now the count to Higdon. So if you have to get an advantage, obviously for experience, that edge would belong to Pine Castle, but you got to play these games. Yeah. Here's the 2-2. It's hit foul off to the right out of play. It remains 2-2.
In this one-game format, anything is possible. Just one blink of the eye, 1 inch.
It doesn't. Yeah, it really isn't a big difference sometimes between some of these teams. As the pitch is called a ball, first base umpire says no swing, and Higdon now is a full count of 3-2. Especially at this level, when you get teams this good, and one play and one break can change everything. Hit to first, but just foul down that first base line. It remains full 3-2. Well, by the way, we've had one first-time state champion already this week. Lafayette yesterday in 1A out of Mayo, the Hornets, who had made it to the state finals before, defeating Jay 12-9. They won the 1A state title. And last night in 5A, a team that is no stranger to state championships, American Heritage Plantation, beat Bellevue 4-0 to win it in 5A for the fourth time in now the last 9 years.
That's some good pitching from both those teams. Bellevue has a good pitcher that could keep Heritage to 4 runs, and Heritage pitcher, I got to see her play a couple times. She's very good.
So there's ball 4, and now it'll be Emily Harris, the right fielder. So Higdon walks, runner at first with 1 out. As Munroe gets his second base run of the game. He had a single in the first as well. And now the right fielder bats. Swing and a miss. Harris swings through it, and it's 0-1.
The Pinecastle catcher's a freshman. She's pretty good. She's got a really good arm, so we don't know if this girl's going to come off. She's not coming off the base too much.
That's in for a strike. Now 0-2 is Casey Gerhardt behind the plate for Pinecastle Christian. The Eagles bunted foul. That's out of play, and with 2 strikes, actually it was a 1-1, so it'll be 1-2 now as she bunts foul on the first baseline.
I think she's trying to open up a little bit. Now we have the shortstop and second baseman cheating over a little bit towards second and first, so she might have that hole on the other side in case they think she's going to bunt again.
So they have 2 is hit back to the circle. Nice play by Bitterman. She'll lob it over to first in time, and that is out number 3.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay. Sorry, I missed something there. I thought I had 1 out. Okay. We will go to the 3rd inning. No score between Pinecastle Christian and Quincy Munroe here in this 2A semifinal game on the FHSAA network. Marty Paulman joined by Coach Mark Wilmon here, joining us from Winter Springs High School. And I'm reading some of these notes. Now, a lot of notes. We like to thank Coach Richard for this. You mentioned Emily Sarasone. She started as a 6th grader in left field, and you're right, she's been a part of 3 state championships starting in 2006. Can you imagine that?
Well, that's to have
that's a
that
long
kind
time
of
on a
player,
varsity
yeah,
team.
That's, you pretty much know everything about that player. After having him for 4 years, we know a lot, and to have him from that extra time. But just to see her develop, she's an outstanding player. I have a pretty good shortstop, and Emily is probably as good.
She, again, as a 6th grader, she will be heading to Auburn, as you mentioned, and has already signed with Auburn. Will be heading there next year. And she has 43 runs scored this year. Slugging percentage 1.429. Amazing. Well, I think so, as I only had 2 outs last inning. I don't really know. I guess we're discussing it here. And there was 1 out on the scoreboard, so that's I'm a little confused there as well. See if
Maybe that was why they bunted, because there wasn't 2 outs.
I don't know. I think the umpire may have thought there were 3 outs there. I think that's what we're discussing. The Munroe defense is on the field. They didn't argue. There should only be 2 outs. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking as well. So
you have to put a runner back at second.
The runner would have to go. Yeah, because the ground ball was to the pitcher. So yeah, the runner would go to second with 2 outs. The Munroe team came on the field though, which is kind of funny. They didn't really argue. And I know I haven't seen this week, and that's the one thing you never really expect in baseball or softball, forgetting the number of outs.
Yeah. Especially, I think the coach would be a little more demonstrative.
I think Coach Allen really didn't bring it up, and now the home plate umpire is trying to figure it out. I think he's talking to the official scorer. But Munroe's still on the field as we were going to start at the top of the 3rd. I think Munroe may have another out in the bottom of the 2nd. That's what
with the runner at second.
With the runner at second base, that's right, and a scoreless tie.
It's be a big moment right here.
You mentioned we're talking about Winter Springs this year, and I know your team would like to make it here, but Palm Beach Gardens was a team that you played 2 years in a row in the semis and finals and lost to them, but they were a good team. They lost this year. They got knocked out by Jupiter, and we'll be seeing Jupiter coming up here later in the week as well against Miami of Palmetto on Sunday in 8A.
You know, that's the fun part of this. I don't like to lose, and I'm still struggling a little bit with it.
I don't think anybody likes it, right?
You know, I have a great family to go home to, 3 beautiful daughters and wonderful wife to go home to, so that's good. But it just shows you that you can be. Palm Beach Gardens was #1 in both Max Preps and ESPN this year, and Jupiter was not afraid, not intimidated, come out and beat them. And as my AD pointed out this other day, the first year we got here, we beat Timber Creek, who was one of the top teams in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Then came back and beat Lake Howell, who was one of the better teams around that year. And then the year before, we put Timber Creek out 3 years ago and 2 years ago when they were very, very highly regarded. And they were a wonderful team with Jessica Lancey and Gorney and their pitcher. I mean, they were tremendous, and we managed to beat them in extra innings. In fact, the one year we beat them, the girl had a perfect game going till the 7th, and a hit batter, well, a double, a single, and a squeeze, and we ended up, you know, so anything can happen. They certainly didn't expect us to beat them at their home field, and so as my AD Ted Jones pointed out, that we've done it to other people, so when it happens to us, just tell them good game and don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
Well, I guess we're moving on.
Yeah, I'm confused about that too.
I don't know how I'm surprised we didn't go back and play the bottom of the second, but here's Anna Heffelbauer, the left fielder, the #9 hitter, leads off for Pine Castle Christian here in the top of the third. It's fouled back and out of the reach of the catcher there for Kay Fletcher. Kay Fletcher there from Munroe. It's 1-1.
I think it's always one of the toughest plays for a catcher to go back and get that pop fly. A lot of concentration, a lot of just knowing, need help from your teammates, let you know where it's at.
All right, just trying to get a bit of a ruling there. 1-2 is hit off to the right out of play. We moved on to the top of the third, and it'll be 9-1-2 for Pine Castle Christian. I was just told the umpire apparently was the only person who thought there were 3 outs, but we're moving on because he's the one who makes the final decision. So it's 1-2 to Anna Heffelbauer, the left fielder. As the wind picks up a bit here in Clearmont, and hit softly out of play over by the third base dugout. It'll remain 1-2.
Tell you what, you wouldn't believe this was May in Florida with a nice cool breeze right now. I know it wasn't like that for you guys all day, and I drove in, so I know it was a mess, but it sure turned out nice. Good night. Let's play 2.
I agree, and we'd like to. And in the evenings, it's still pretty cool, nice breeze through here. So we look forward to our late game for many reasons, as the 1-2 is up high for ball 2-2, and also to see maybe 2 of the top teams, not only in the state, but maybe in the country, Niceville and O'Galley coming up tonight.
Yeah, I've got to see both those teams play, and they are just dynamite teams.
2-2, this is a little bit high outside, full now 3-2. As Pine Castle Christian left 2 on in the first. Both teams with 1 hit as we play here in the top of the third.
Well, this is a big out right here because you face the top of the order, at least with an out.
Oh, she checked her swing, and first base umpire says no swing, and it's ball 4. So the second walk of the day for Haley Kerbali, and now Pine Castle Christian with a leadoff runner here in the top of the third.
Well, the batter fouled off a couple of good 3-2 pitches, and that's what you look for out of your #9, actually all your hitters, but for the #9 to get on with a walk, as a coach, it makes my belly hurt. Especially with this kid up right now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Emily Sarasone hits. She flew out to center her first time, 0 for 1 today, and takes the first pitch for a strike on one. She's not going to be out a lot, though. 48 hits and 71 at-bats. That's just amazing. 47 runs scored this season. 14 doubles, 8 triples, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs. And a little bit outside, 1-1. You really have to be careful with the hitter here. They had one of the players for Lafayette, Stacy McClellan, had 63 RBIs coming in.
Wow.
They walked her twice in the semifinals. Jay pitched her in the final. What do you know? She had 3 hits. There's a drive to center, and moving in, making the catch out there is Ramsey Higdon. Boy, well hit by Sarasoni, but hit right to the center fielder. And back to first goes Heffelbauer, and Sarasoni has 2 flyouts to center now.
I guess if you're going to trade an out, might as well be that one to be out instead of the kid. You know, she's a disruptor. If she gets on base, she can steal all kinds of bases.
So here is Becca Carr, the third baseman, as she popped up to the shortstop her first time up 0 for 1. It's a little bit high, 1-0. Grindcastle Christian defeated Lafayette 6-2 back in 2010 to win the 2A state title. Lafayette now down in 1A was able to get that state championship. Tomorrow we'll have the 2A and 6A championship games at 4:05 and 7:05. Inside for ball 2-0 on Friday. We move on to Class 3A and 7A. Championship games on Saturday. On Sunday, the first time ever we'll be playing on Sunday, Mother's Day, 4A and 8A semis. And then the championship games next Monday. An 8-day event now here in Clearmont. As the pitch gets away, down to second goes Heffelbauer. That'll be a wild pitch in the dirt. So Heffelbauer to second with 1 out. And I'd like to say that we're here for the entire month, it seems like, because then Mike Rideout and I will move on to, so will the crew here, to Port St. Lucie for another 8 days for baseball. A lot of fun. We'll get some sun and enjoy some softball and baseball. That's my favorite time of the year, I have to say. But
it is, seeing these kids play.
3-0 inside corner, 3-1.
Our boys, a lot of my players were last night out at New Smyrna Beach watching the boys play. They were in the regional semis, and they ended up losing 4-3 on a walk-off double. And they ended their season 27-2.
Wow.
So that was
a hit to third. It goes off the glove of Anna Jones. There'll be no play at first base, as it was a fair ball down third, and nowhere for Effelbauer to go. She'll stay at second, but Carr to first now, and they have first and second with 1 out to the Eagles. Yeah, tough one, as Corey Davis has been working the games with me the first few days. We did work the 1A game yesterday, and then decided Kelly Neff worked the 5A game, so we decided to go find some regional baseball. So we drove over to Olympia High School, not realizing they didn't have lights. They played at 4 o'clock.
That's right.
and as the games, Orlando Sentinel said 7. So we went over there. Of course, it was pouring and lightning. Like, well, they'll have a delay. Nobody's there. The game had ended already. It was 2-1. So then we made the trip to Bishop Moore. We kind of knew, we went over there and saw them play Satellite, and they won easily. As the 1-0 is chopped to foul. Who's that foul? Ooh, just foul. As Jones let it go, and it's 1-1. So, yeah, we were looking for some regional baseball. A lot of good baseball in this area last night. Of course, the weather permitting. There was a lot of rain in the area.
But just in spots. It's funny how down here you just get spots. So it ran across the street from my house and not at my house, or it'll rain Lyman High School out, and we're 3 miles down the road, and we won't get a drop.
Here's the 1-1 on the way to.
Nice curveball.
They called that a hit for Carr. That'll be an infield single. This is Bitterman, who walked in the first. It's now 1-2. Well, that's the thing. We went to Olympia, and it's pouring, and then we drive another 10 miles to Bishop Moore. No rain at all. So they played ball there. And meanwhile, here in Clearmont, it didn't rain. They had a lightning delay, but no rain yesterday. So, yeah, you really never know. It's 2-2 the count. You mentioned the Winter Springs baseball team lost 4-3 to New Smyrna last night. Hit on the infield. That might be a double play. No, not quite in time, as Heffelbauer will get back into second. The play made by Glenn at second. She flipped it to Sermons, but they will get 1 out as Bitterman pops up, so that's 2 outs. That's a tough loss for Winter Springs, 4-3, as New Smyrna Beach will now play either Gainesville Buchholz or Tallahassee Childs, who were playing today. They got rained out last night in Tallahassee. That'll be a regional final in 7A. Chop back to the circle. The first pitch to Richard, and the throw to first in time.
She got out of that. That was that could have been big. There's no leads in fast pitch softball, so the girls try to come off as they're allowed to come off as the pitch leaves the hand. and then they get a secondary jump, and that's why she almost got picked off at second, because she started taking off. She just got back under it.
So Pinecastle leaves 2 more on base. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, no errors, and 2 left on base. Pinecastle's left 4 on through the first 3. We have no score in this 2A semifinal as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. We are live at the National Training Center in Clermont here on the FHSAA Network, the 2012 FHSAA Softball Finals. This is a 2A semifinal. The winner will play Grandview Prep from Boca Raton tomorrow at 4:05 for the 2A state championship. Grandview Prep earlier today defeated Sheridan Hills Christian 19-2. Coming up tonight, we'll move back to 6A, and this nice will play O'Galley. We'll talk a little bit more about that game in a little while. The winner of that will play Pembroke Pines Charter tomorrow night for the 6A title at 7:05 as Pembroke Pines Charter knocked out Lakewood Ranch 4-0 in our earlier 6A semifinal. Marty Paulman joined by head coach Mark Woolman from Winter Springs High School. And we mentioned you a couple times bringing your team here. And you know, when you're here as a coach and when you're here with your team, how is it a little, obviously it's a lot different from being up here watching it, but what is the first thing when you got here for the first time, like the feeling you get and your team kind of gets? Is it just
you
take care of business, or just, wow, let's look at this place, first of all, let's get that out of our heads and go play?
Your adrenaline is pumping. First time you're here, you're not sure exactly how everything's going to happen. And so we do that whole Hoosiers thing where, you know, it's only 43 feet and it's only 60 feet to the bases.
It's the same distance.
Yeah, no matter where we're playing. But it's exciting, and it's hard to keep getting back, and so we try to enjoy all the times that both times we had here.
And here is, well, this is Glenn. I don't know what we did about this. I know that Harris was the last batter up last inning, number 21. So we've moved along to Glenn, the 9th hitter. And my scorecard forever will have a giant hole in it in the 2nd inning. Swing and a miss for strike 3 because I didn't see anything. There's a second strikeout for Kaylee Bitterman, and we're going to have 1 out the bottom of the 3rd. Oh, well, move on. We're moving on here in the bottom of the 3rd as Bitterman gets her 2nd strikeout. Now back to the top of the order for Munroe. This is Kay Fletcher. And, yeah, that might be my favorite, one of my favorite scenes in Hoosiers. They go into the big arena in Indianapolis, and still 10 feet. Still measured it, still 10 feet. Gene Hackman is the coach there in that movie.
I tell you what, the kids get so starry-eyed, their eyes get huge. Even the seniors, their eyes get big. But then once the first pitch is thrown, most of them settle down and play ball.
Down the middle for a strike, 1-1. Coach Norman Dale, played by Gene Hackman in that movie, is still one of my favorites. That's one of the, if you ever want to see an underdog movie, that and Rudy, I think, are the 2 best movies for that. 1-1 is up high for ball 2-1. Hoosiers, they were both true stories for the most part. One of them more so than the other. But Hoosiers was based on a true story. 2-1 the count. As Fletcher tries to bunt, misses, and it's even 2-2. Yeah, the sun's back out.
They're all over her too. The third baseman, the first baseman, or if she could push it up between them, she'd have an easy base hit. That's hard to teach, but she's got to see that.
Yeah, swing and a miss as they'll make the throw to first. Will Gerhardt to complete the strikeout, but Fletcher swings through it. And now back-to-back strikeouts for Kaylee Bitterman. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd.
It was that changeup again. Got up into her, and she couldn't do anything with it.
You talked earlier, Coach, about Pinecastle Christian playing some 8A schools. Timber Creek, they beat 5-4. They beat Boone 1-0. They played some higher schools. Trinity Prep will be here in 3A 6-0. As there's a pop fly into right. That'll fall just past the glove of Richard and into right field. It's a fair ball, and Caitlin Sermons will reach with a 2-out hit. 2nd hit of the game for Munroe. They've had at least 1 base runner in every inning now. And
those are the ones we say that didn't even bend the grass. It was hit so softly. You couldn't throw a better one than that. That was a good bit of hitting.
We're back to their schedule. They beat Dr. Phillips twice, 8-0 and 7-4. Beat Montverde 2-0. Popka 10-0. Park Vista 5-1. Lost to Gulliver Prep 7-2. There's a throw to first. Gulliver Prep will be here later in the week. St. Thomas Aquinas beat them 4-3 and Barron Collier. So, yeah, they're playing quite a schedule to get ready for the postseason.
And it's helped them. It's had to have helped them immensely.
Hit to third. Nice play. Nope, it's called a foul ball as Becca Carr made a good backhanded play, but it's called foul, so it's 1-1. Wind really picking up again here, but the sun in and out between the clouds as we get into the early evening here, 6:30 in Clermont.
Wind's coming in directly from the left, so it's going to knock a lot of these balls down.
Hit up the middle, and it'll get to center field. Base hit, went right under the glove of Bitterman, and now back-to-back singles for Munroe here in the bottom of the third, and Corbali, the pitcher, is 2 for 2. That's her second hit. So now Munroe with something here in the bottom of the third. Sorry. So Mary Pat Thomas, the left fielder, up. She grounded to second, her first at bat, 0 for 1.
This is a traditional power hitting spot, an RBI spot. Oh.
And popped up to the circle, and on the first pitch, the play made by Bitterman for the third out. So a couple of hits for Munroe, but they leave 2 on. They have now left 3 on base, actually 4, as we head to the 4th inning. Still no score between Pinecastle Christian and Quincy Munroe in this 2A state semifinal here from the National Training Center in Clearmont on the FHSAA network.
It's not quite the offensive explosion that we thought Pinecastle might bring. The Corvallo is throwing some excellent pitches for Munroe and really keeping the Pinecastle hitters off balance.
Well, 2 hits for Pinecastle Christian. They have left 4 on. 3 hits for Munroe. They have left 4 on base. So both teams have had runners on base, but have yet to get anyone across here in this 2A semifinal. And we will go to the top of the 4th, where 5, 6, and 7 will come up for the Pinecastle Christian Eagles. Gerhardt, Caniglio, and Alex Thomas. Tomorrow we will get started at 4 o'clock with the 2A state championship. We do have one more game to go tonight in 6A between Niceville and O'Galley. And then the 2 championship games tomorrow in 2A and 6A. 6A will be scheduled for 7:05. Mike Rideout will be coming in on Friday, and he and Kelly Neff will take you the rest of the weekend from Clermont. Mike and I'll head to baseball next week.
I'll be sure to tune into those.
Yeah, do that on the FHSA network, FHSAsports.com, as the first pitch in for a strike to Gerhardt, who was 0 for 1. Gerhardt grounded out to third, her first at bat. That gets started a week from tomorrow, May 17th, from Digital Domain Park in Port St. Lucie. As it's popped to center, and actually in trouble, it drops. The wind may have got a hold of that one. Into second is Gerhardt, as it fell right in between Harrison Wright and Higdon in center. It looked like Higdon was going to have a chance at it. And down to second is Gerhardt. So that is a double to lead off the top of the 4th.
Yeah, good call, Maury. That was very much wind blown. That girl made an excellent effort, but just fell just out of her glove.
Yeah, boy, it looked at first like she may have it, and then it kind of floated towards right center.
And what's happening now is they're bringing in a courtesy runner for the catcher. It's a speed up rule, but usually if you have the personnel, you put one of your faster kids in now to give yourself an extra little edge.
Shamari Ridley is the courtesy runner for Pinecastle Christian. So she's at second, nobody out, and that's the thing too. And we do a lot of baseball. I mean, more baseball and softball games that I work, and I've done some softball. As Caniglio takes the first pitch for a ball 1-0, but the rules that are interesting in that, that rule, one thing is that you can take your catcher or your pitcher out and run for them at any time, and they stay in the game. You can have a pinch runner, but the courtesy runner, they call it. And then the interesting thing we've seen a couple times is you take the pitcher out and you re-enter the pitcher, which is something you obviously can't do in baseball. It's fouled off the third base side. On the bunt, it's 1-on-1.
I've let my first baseman is a pitcher also, and I brought her in occasionally to finish an inning if she was leading off, so that now I could use a courtesy runner for her, all within the rules. If you can make it work,
Now, these are the intricacies of softball that you don't see in baseball. Those little rules that you can use like that. The 1-1 is a little bit outside, 2-1.
Now, it's interesting that she had showed bunt her first, well, probably slap it looked like. She was running to the ball. And the rotation that Munroe had left the middle wide open. And now she's backing off that a little bit. And there it is, bunt.
2-1 and bunted foul.
Yeah.
Past the third baseman down there, Anna Jones, and it's now 2-2. Is that that one-handed bunt almost looks like a slap, but
yeah. Well, I think she's trying to she can get by that third baseman or in that little hole in between the pitcher and third. Our biggest concern right now is just getting that run to third with less than 2.
So 2-2 the count. Infield comes in at first and third, expecting that, and she swings through it. Does Caniglio for the strikeout. That is the first strikeout of the game for Haley Corbali. 1 out here in the 4th. Runner stays at second.
What you also know is the runner at second is trying to tip the batter off to where the pitch location is. She'll throw a right hand out if it's coming inside, and her left hand if it's going outside. See, it's
Alex Thomas, the right fielder, takes the first pitch inside, 1-0.
Now in baseball, we know what would happen.
Yeah.
The batter would probably, in pro baseball, the batter would probably catch one in the back.
That's right. That's exactly right. 1-0 the count. That's fouled off back to the backstop. 1-1. That's something you won't see in softball.
Yeah, they don't. I mean,
unless you accidentally do that.
Yeah. Don't want to put extra runners on. But those hurt. I've gotten in against kids a couple times, and I think they threw at me on purpose.
1-1, you think? Outside 2-1.
Remember those sprints we ran last week, Coach? Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you better know that you're looking for it.
She put some ice on that arm now. Okay.
Yeah, if the coach. Yeah, exactly. If the coach is in there, all bets are off. 2-1 again. Infield in at first and third. Hit softly foul as she checks.
She got fair.
It's a fair ball. Wow, inside the first base bag. That's going to score a run. I thought that was a foul ball. And down to second goes Alex Thomas. Ridley scores, and there you go. Just a play like that. It was a check swing by Thomas. She didn't really mean to, and it looked like the ball was foul. It hit right off the first baseman, though, Brannaman's glove, and it's 1-0 Pinecastle. Interesting. So that may be judged an error as it went off Brannaman's glove. We're waiting for the official. Nope, they're going to give her a hit, so that's an RB. No, wait a minute. Let's see. Nope, that's a hit. So 2 hits in the inning, and now a ball just foul is Ashley Gerhardt trying to get on base.
Boy, this game is so close sometimes. Some years you get the breaks, and then sometimes that happens. Wow.
And it brings in the first run of the game, too. And after both teams have had opportunities, it's a play like that. And at first I thought that ball was just to the right side of first base, but the umpire said no. So
he'll tell us he had a better angle.
Oh, he did, probably.
Yep, he did. I found out in 13 years.
Coaches don't always want to hear that either.
No,
well, you're on the field, too, so you have a pretty good angle as well, but it's now 1-1.
There's just some things not worth arguing about.
And a swing and a miss, strike 2, 1-2. I know that I've never seen this in high school softball, of a manager or coach getting thrown out of a game. I'm not sure it's happened. Doesn't happen
I can
much.
guarantee it's happened.
I don't know if it's happened to you, but I mean, maybe more so in the college level of softball. Hits softly to short.
We can say a lot more things to the, and when you're
that
doing
throw
college
gets away.
Oh,
And now a run's going to come home to score, and that really was not a great throw, and probably Brannaman should have held on to it as Gerhardt grounded out. The throw was made over in time by the shortstop. But the throw back from Brannaman is wild, and coming home to score is Thomas to make it 2-0. That'll be an error on Brannaman, the first baseman. That throw not even close to first. So 2 runs now have scored in the inning for Pinecastle, and they lead at 2-0. Again, a play like that where you get the second out, and the runner's going to third. Just make sure you don't do something like that. And throwing error hurts.
Yeah, the girl was aggressive, but like you said, probably not a very good decision at that point. And she knows it.
And now a meeting in the circle as Coach Mark Allen trying to settle the team down a bit as they've fallen behind 2-0 here in the top of the 4th. that's a short meeting. Is that just a okay? We were in this game. Just get the
just
third
settle
out.
down.
And get out of here.
Let's get the out. We still have our swings. We still have 12 outs,
Yep.
and
Only 2 down.
We got here for a reason. That's what he's out there telling them.
So nobody on now. There's 2 outs. Here's Heffelbauer, the left fielder, who walked and was stranded in the third. First pitch in for a strike, 0-1. 2 runs in the inning. As on that play, Gerhardt grounded out to the shortstop, Caitlin Sermons. Her throw was in time, but then the first baseman, Georgie Branneman, threw it near the dugout over by third, and that allowed the run to score. It's 0-2 now to Heffelbauer.
Corvallo's really working inside to these hitters, too. That check swing probably fooled her first baseman, the double we got earlier in the inning to score the first run. It's 3 pitches in a row inside to this hitter.
1-2 the count. Heffelbauer, the number 9 hitter for Pine Castle. Here's the 1-2. Took a little bit off that one. Misses outside, and it's now even 2-2.
You see a lot of pitchers do that these days, though. Especially if they have any zip at all, they'll go inside, and then try to set you up outside. And so we try to teach our players to look inside but work outside.
2-2 is popped up on the infield, and in foul territory, the catch is made by the third baseman, Anna Jones. So Heffelbauer pops up. 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits, 1 error, and there were nobody left on base. We now head to the bottom of the 4th. It's Pine Castle Christian 2, Munroe nothing in this 2A semifinal on the FHSAA network. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Oh, okay. But this is Coach Mark Wilmon. We're glad he's here, and glad you're with us here for the next few days as we bring you softball from Clearmont. We will be joined also by the head coach at Eastlake High School on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mike Estes will be here.
I played against Mike. Mike had a tremendous program too. The kid that pitched against, I think, must have been Eastlake. Kid that pitched against us was amazing 2 years ago. I think she went to Florida. I don't know as much about other teams as my assistant coaches do. They're very aware of all kinds of stuff. But,
they scout, though. So
yeah, they sure do.
Yeah,
they were here last night or yesterday morning watching American Heritage. So.
As the American Heritage winning a state championship. We were talking about Eastridge earlier, which is, by the way, you look down the hill, you can see Eastridge High School from here. They lost in the regional semis to Osceola, and they've been close a few times to playing here in these. Well, I tell you, you think you'd have a crowd here for that?
Tell you what, they were last year. We played them first game of the season, beat them up pretty good, and then they went on that 20-something game winning streak. And I know that as far as gate, they were hoping we would play them last year, and I maybe wasn't hoping so much. The Novak and Borak were just so good and so pesky and so fast that I didn't want to necessarily face them too many times. But they're just always right on the brink of being here.
It's 1-1, pardon me, to Anna Jones, the third baseman, who struck out looking in the second, and they are. I just think you're right, because if you play Eastridge, they're going to bring all of their fans. I mean, you're a mile maybe here from the National Training Center. It's 1-2, and to Jones. And I remember, Coach, your team and your school bringing a lot of fans from Winter Springs. Great crowds here as well. Popped up back to the screen. Right, it's 1-2.
That's the fun. We have good support, and we've had people. I mean, just people from both schools come out and yell, and then just people that are interested. Little kids that my kids work with, they're 10 and under. They work in the off season, or they just do community service. Those kids come out all the time, and what we like to say, it's important for these ball players. Remember, they're role models too, so they work in the community, and it's great to see.
Now 2-2 the count to Jones, leadoff hitter. She fouls it off, stays alive over by the third base dugout, and it remains 2-2.
In fact, Pine Castle does community service every year too. They this year they passed out cards and prayer cards for Victoria Coffee, the Osceola coach's wife had cancer, and they were very supportive and very, making people aware of that kind of thing. And it's great to say that I saw Victoria the other day, and she's doing wonderful, and I'm so happy for her.
Anna Jones can't hold up, and she swings through it for strike 3. Jones has struck out twice today, now 4 Ks. For Kaylee Bitterman, 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. So here is Ramsey Hidgeton. Well, we will not obviously start our last game at 7 o'clock. Scheduled for us. It's bunted up in the air. What a nice play coming down from third base. Good job diving there by Becca Carr. Makes the play for out number 2.
There's been a lot of good defense in this game by both sides.
Yeah, we have yet to have a game this week without an error, and so far, you're right, both teams playing great defense in this 2A state semifinal game. That time, Becca Carr going all out. There you see her coming down that third base line for the second out.
And that's effort I'm sure that she showed in preseason all the way up to state finals, because you can't just turn effort on like that on and off. It has to be an every game, every pitch situation.
2 outs. Here's Emily Harris, the right fielder. She grounded back to the pitcher, first time 0 for 1. 1-0 the count. Down the middle for a strike, 1-1. 2-0 our score in the bottom of the 4th. Harris is a 6th grader. Kind of tell by, she looks pretty young there. On the outside corner for a strike, 1 and 2. And on the year, Harris at 132, 7 RBIs. Did I mention she's a 6th grader in the starting lineup? I don't know if you maybe see that.
Semis. Yeah.
I don't know if you probably see that as much in your program. I know we see this as that's on the inside corner for strike 3, and that'll end the inning.
Of course, where the schools have the bigger, bigger schools can't do that because they're 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, they're only 4 years. A lot of these schools, as you see with Pine Castle being a Christian school and Munroe being a day school, they can take in these kids from K through 12. That's true. When you get to the usually the upper level classifications, they're only 4-year schools.
I think Cocoa Beach, I believe a few years ago, if they might still be, but they were middle school and high school together on the same campus, and so they could have the younger kids playing too. If they're on the same campus, even if they're a public school.
Yeah, I know there are a few schools. I believe another one in Jacksonville area is Hilliard. It's a middle and senior high school. So 1-2-3 goes Munroe here in the bottom of the 4th. We go to the 5th, 2-0 now. Pine Castle Christian leading in their 2A semifinal. 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for Pine Castle. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error from Munroe. Now we have an error. Did we have an error before? Yes, we did. I'm sorry. There was an error last inning. So Munroe does have an error, and they just flashed up on the scoreboard, actually. So get a little bit later. That's why I mistakenly said that, but they did make that error last inning and allowed a run to score as the first baseman, Brannaman, made the throwing error. We go to the 5th, though. It's 2-0. And
this game's moving along rather briskly.
Yeah, we go to the 5th inning. We mentioned we won't start at 7 o'clock. Obviously, it's now 10 till 7 with our last game, but we will have that game probably will be about 30 minutes or so after the completion of this game. So we will see and definitely have this game for you tonight on the FHSAA network. So we try to get back on schedule after another rain-plagued day here in Clearmont. All right, top of the 5th. Here is the top of the order. Sarasone, who's 0 for 2 today with 2 flies to center. And first pitch, a strike, 0-1. Looking for her first hit of the day. And that is right down there on the corner, also the inside corner for a strike, 0-2.
I think I'm going to miss seeing this girl play. I've watched her for so long. It seems like she's almost one of my children.
Another player who's played since 6th grade here. 0-2. That's hit right into left, right center for a hit. That's all the way to the fence. That may be 3. She is on the move. She's heading to third as Sarasone. That's an easy triple. She's coming to the plate. The throw is going to be not in time. An inside the park home run for Emily Sarasone. Boy, she turned that speed on. I thought they were going to hold her at third, but the throw in from second base was late and up the line as Kadeja Glenn threw it in, and what do you know? There's a home run for Sarasone. There's some speed there.
Yeah, I think he knew it was just a matter of time before something good happened for her.
Once that ball got into the gap in right center, forget it. She hit that ball just past the second baseman and all the way to the fence, and I thought she may stop at 3, but never stopped at all as Carr hits it to third. Throw across in time by Anna Jones, and Carr is out on the first pitch, 5-3. 1 out, but a run in for Pinecastle.
Just 3, right?
And it's now 3-0. That was a inside the park home run. And for Sarasone, her 7th of the year.
Don't see those very often. With the fences being...
No, you don't.
Not, fences usually 200 at the most, and so somebody has to usually fall down, but that was just pure speed on the part of Emily.
Here is Bitterman, the pitcher. She's walked and popped to second, 0 for 1. As the pitch misses up high, 2-0. Mark Richard in the notes here talking about 5 8A teams this year. Local teams are ranked in the top 10 or 20 that they played. And they won all 5 of them. Timber Creek, Boone, Dr. Phillips twice, and Apopka beat Trinity Prep. It's popped up on the infield. Ooh, nice basket catch by the shortstop. As Caitlin Sermons makes the play, heading towards the outfield for the second out.
You could hear her call it all the way up here. It would have been a nasty collision.
This year they, Pinecastle Christian went to Panama City. Played at the Florida-Alabama Softball Challenge. And was in the top bracket of Kissimmee Classic up the middle. And there's a base hit for Lisa Richard. She's 2 for 3 with a 2-out single here in the 5th. They got in the top bracket with Gulliver Prep, Park Vista, St. Thomas Aquinas, Baird Collier. So definitely they
Palm Beach Gardens.
Palm Beach Gardens was there, as you said. 6 district titles in 7 years. So a lot going on there for Pinecastle. And they now lead at 3-0. Kaylee Bitterman had a shoulder injury in December. She was out much of the practice preseason. As the pitch gets away, down to second goes Richard, as Casey Gerhardt, the catcher, is 1 for 2, is up. And apparently she has an upper biceps injury.
And then she hurt her leg too, so she couldn't plant. So she's
well, she has
a warrior.
2.14 ERA, but her coach says as that gets away, and down to second goes Richard with 2 outs, and coach says if not for that, she'd have a under .50 ERA. Well, maybe. It's tough to say, but hey, she's been dominant, but she's playing through it and pitching for this Pinecastle team.
Well, good pitching is so important, so important. And
fouled off by Gerhardt. It's 1-2.
We had Kirsten Kaufman had a .7 ERA for us in 116 innings. And Elizabeth Burley was at 1.4. And my third pitcher had a 0 ERA and 3-0. So we were getting some good pitching this year.
2-2 the count.
Kept us in a lot of games.
Already 1 run here in the inning on the top of the 5th on the inside of the park home run by Emily Sarasone. Runner at second, now 2 outs for Pinecastle. Here's the 2-2. Chopped to third, foul, and it remains 2-2.
Except for Emily, they're just not getting good metal on the bat. It's just she's got them off the end of the bat, and she's got them off the handle.
So the count remains 2-2 from Corbali. And that's called strike 3 on the outside corner. So Corbali comes back to strike out Gerhardt. Second strikeout of the game for Haley Corbali, and that'll end the top of the 5th. But Pinecastle Christian picks up a run on 2 hits. No errors in the inning. 1 runner left on base. As we go now to the bottom of the 5th. Again, it's 3-0 Pinecastle Christian leading Munroe in this 2A softball semifinal game from the National Training Center in Clermont, the 2012 FHSAA softball finals. As we look ahead to this weekend's play starting on Friday, I know, Coach, you'll be back tomorrow and some on Friday as well. And 7A, I know you're familiar with 7A, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Cooper City and Chamberlain will play at 2 p.m. on Friday, and then 7 p.m. the featured game Friday night between Childs and Bartow.
Those are four excellent teams. Teams that put the ball in play, teams that have good defense, good pitching, or they wouldn't be here. And any one of those teams is capable of winning this. I know Bartow struggled a little bit during the middle of the season, but now they're back playing well. Childs got a lot of recognition for beating Niceville earlier this year. And, Cooper City took some lumps early, but they're playing well.
Childs making their first appearance in the FHSAA finals, and Bartow, a team that with Glenn Rutenbar is absolutely
right.
no stranger.
Seems like they have their own hotel here.
Well, wherever they have it.
Where that's been.
Tampa, Panama City, Auburndale, no matter where. Bartow has been there as Glenn Rutenbar in 26 years, 687 wins. And they almost won another state title last year. Niceville beat them 2-1. And Bartow with 7 state titles, and they all became between 1997 and 2006 in classes 3A and 4A. So a very dominant time for Bartow, and they won 5 in a row from 2002 to 2006, back this year in the semifinals. That's coming up on Friday night as they play Childs. The bottom of the 5th inning, we start with Georgie Brannaman, the first baseman, taking the pitch for a strike, 0-1. 3-0 Pine Castle Christian leading it. Here's the 0-1 on the way from Bitterman, and a little bit high and outside, 1-1.
A little bit different from baseball. 3-0 lead with a good pitcher is pretty substantial in fast pitch softball. Munroe really needs to get a couple base runners here and put some pressure on the Pine Castle defense.
A little bit high as well, now 2-1, as it's 8-9-1 for the Munroe Day Bobcats here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1, back down the middle, and it's 2-2. Brannaman is the senior in the middle of this lineup. 270 with 5 RBIs, 21 runs scored. 2-2. Ooh, just a little inside. It's 3-2.
And Bitterman will throw any of her pitches in a 3-2 situation. Strike
There's called strike 3. On the outside corner, and another strikeout for Kaylee Bitterman. So now she has 6, pardon me. 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and 1 here to lead off the 5th. That's 1 out. She really seems to be settling down. She allowed a single in the 1st, a walk in the 2nd, 2 singles in the 3rd, but now has retired 5 in a row. 1 out, and here's Kadeja Glenn, the second baseman, who struck out in the 3rd.
Change it.
And she let a little bit off that one. The changeup in for a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, a team like Pine Castle has the experience of being here so long that Bitterman can kind of smell blood in the water. Is that a right term?
Hit to first. Yeah, we'll go with it. And stepping on the bag over there is Audrey Smith for the second out. Yeah,
she's getting tougher as it goes on.
Yeah, smelling blood in the water is a good way to put it. She's definitely rolling right now. She's retired 6 in a row, 2 outs in the 5th, and now Kay Fletcher, the catcher, is 0 for 2 hits. And how much is it? How much easier? Not easier, but how much more relaxed are you instead of in a scoreless tie and when you have a 3-run lead? It's got to be like a 200% better, and that may help you as well.
It's like being in paradise. If you have a good pitcher and you're confident in your defense, of course a 2-0 lead is so much better than a 1-0 lead. And anything after that, it's just gravy.
Here's the first pitch, a strike to Fletcher. That's in as well. Now she's quickly ahead 0-2 as Bitterman. Fletcher has grounded out to the catcher 2-3 and struck out swinging. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. There comes the sun again. So we now approach 7 o'clock in the evening, and just a little bit outside 1-2. It is 7 o'clock, in fact.
I know that we like to wait till half our games wait till the 5th or 6th before we would score, which I think the kids thought that was funny.
They thought it was funny? Except for everyone for you, right?
Where'd all your hair go, Coach?
Yeah, exactly.
So no, they're in the 3rd base box.
It's funny for everyone except the coach. Yeah, 1-2 now as Fouled back again by Fletcher.
That's why I shaved so extra close today so you couldn't see all the grays that I put in my goatee.
1-2, a little inside, and it's now even 2-2 to Fletcher. Munroe has 3 hits, but none since the third. They had 4 base runners in the first 3 innings. They've left 4 on base. Pinecastle Christian has left 5 on. 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth for them, and there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Fletcher strikes out for the second time today. 2 more strikeouts in the inning for Bitterman, who now has 7 through 5, and Munroe goes 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the fifth. So we go to the sixth, 3-0. Pinecastle Christian leading Munroe in this 2A softball semifinal here on the FHSAA network.
Do we get a free pizza if she gets 10 strikeouts, or is that just the Rays?
Oh, the Rays do that. Oh, the deal with the furniture store.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kane.
I always thought it was weird because, and I've been to some Rays games too, and you have to go to the furniture store to get the coupon to go get the pizza. It's a lot of steps in there, it seems like. But yeah, and this way, the way the Rays have been going with David Price and James Shields, the 10 strikeouts have been coming pretty easily, it seems. But yeah, that's true. You never know. I don't know. We'd have to ask the complex here if they give us some pizza. We do love the complex here in Clearmont, the National Training Center softball complex, and great crew of the concession stand, which is literally right below us, so I can smell the burgers and dogs being cooked up.
Yeah.
And the pulled pork.
Yeah.
Keith, our producer, pointing out that our crew here, Brian and John and Mitch and Keith, have definitely gotten used to the food at the concession stand. Or not. Yeah. But for the most part. I know I have, but it's fun to smell it. They're right below us here.
It does smell good. It smells good. And the FHSAA runs a pretty good tournament there. They're there to greet you at the gate and make sure that you warm up properly and have everything you need. So, with them and the complex, it's a really enjoyable experience, as not only as a fan, but certainly as a player coming out to be able to play in this.
We go to the top of the sixth. Just pointed out to me that it's now an official game and there's no rain. So good news. Our first of the day that we've had without a delay as we go to the top of the sixth. Monday night we had an interesting situation in the 1A semifinals. Lafayette and Union County. Lafayette took the lead 5-4 in the bottom of the fourth. It started raining pretty steadily. The Union County pitcher really started struggling with that. So it's 2 runs scored. The umpires let them play. They got to the bottom of the fifth. Lightning finally strikes. It's really raining at that point. So as the first pitch outside to Shelby Caniglio, it's 1-0. She's 0 for 2 today. And then at that point, the decision was being made after over a 3-hour rain delay that the game was official. And obviously the Union County coaches, their athletic director, Ronnie Pruitt, did that hit her? No, but it out of way, so it's 1-1. That decision was made after much discussion to play the game. They waited a while, played the last 2 innings in a different field, and Lafayette quickly scored 8 runs and ended up winning it by 10 runs in the 6th. But Union County got to play, and it was an interesting situation. Hit to center, and the catch is made out there by Ramsey Hidgeton for the first out. Caniglio is 0 for 3, but for a while there, the rule is you can call the game official, even a state semifinal, but I know that's be tough to take if you're a coach that's losing by a run with still 2 innings to go. And Union County did get to play the game, and it did go for Lafayette, but at least they got to play.
Right.
Since it's fouled off by Alex Thomas, she is 1 for 2, single and scored, single run scored in the 4th and flew to left in the 2nd.
You're always hoping that the kids can get a chance to decide what's going on the field, where the coaches don't get in the way, the umpires don't get in the way, and the kids just get to play.
And it's 1-1 now to Thomas. And Thomas singled in a run in the 4th to give Pinecastle the lead. It went right down the first base side, scoring Jamari Ridley, and then later in the inning, Thomas scored on a throwing error. And then in the 5th, a leadoff inside the park home run by Emily Sarasone. It's 3-0. 1-2 outside. It's 2-2. 7, 8, 9 for the, or 6, 7, and 8 here for the Eagles in the sixth. 1 out, nobody on. Here's the 2-2, and it gets over the head of the catcher back to the backstop. Count full 3-2 as it went over Kay Fletcher's head.
At this point, sometimes you see the winning team try to get back in defense as quick as they can so they can get it. You know, they're so excited about what's happening at this moment.
Full count pitch, swung and hit past the third baseman Jones, and a fair ball down the left field line, and stopping at first will be Alex Thomas. She is 2 for 3 with 2 singles in her last 2 at bats. And this time that went on that third base line after going down the first base line in the fourth. And just under the glove of Anna Jones. So the 7th hit of the day for the Pine Castle Christian Eagles. And she's at first with 1 out.
We're 2 batters from having Emily up again, too. So
Ashley Gerhardt is grounded to short twice, takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. She's 0 for 2 today.
One of these kids reaches and flips the lineup.
Here's the 0-1. Hit foul right past Jones at third, and it's 0-2. And now we'll see Mark Richhart coming to talk it over with a home plate umpire. Are we making a switch here? Oh, we're going to have a courtesy runner. That will actually be a pinch
straight
runner.
Sub.
Yeah, for Thomas, number 7, Kayla Gatan. Gayton, pardon me.
So we try to get in Mark's head to see if he's going to send the girl, so he has 2 shots to get her in from second base.
Always interesting to see that too, with the count 0-2 on the batter. All of a sudden, instead of not doing that before the hitter hits, you wonder if it just kind of said, "Oh wait, well,
yeah, that happened.
Put in this faster runner."
As a coach, sometimes you try to guess what this girl throws off speed with 0-2. It's a good time to send you give your runner an advantage.
All right, so 0-2. That is now Kayla Gayton, the pinch runner at first.
There she goes.
And a hit to third past Jones, and then to the shortstop. Throw to first is not in time, and safe is Gerhardt. And a little bit of Sermons didn't really know if she wanted to go to second or to first, and it got right past Jones at third, and a little bit of question there. It's going to be an infield hit for Gerhardt, and runners at first and second with 1 out. It didn't look like Sermons really knew, and she waited a little bit too long, and that allowed Gerhardt to get to first. So now, again, Coach Richard is talking to the umpire. And Anna Heffelbauer, the number 9 hitter, due up. With first and second, 1 out. As Gayton moves to second, Gerhardt's at first.
And they're going to have to face Carasoni no matter what here.
And now we'll have another runner. That's what it was. Gerhardt, the designated player. Elizabeth Cawthorn will run at first. All right, so first and second, 1 out. Here's Heffelbauer, who's walked and popped to third. She's 0 for 1. First pitch in for a strike. It's 0-1.
She's working her inside, hoping to get a ground ball to third so they can just touch and at least get the lead runner.
So yes, Carasoni is on deck now. Like to get a chance here as the infield comes in at first and third again, even with the bag at second and short. Bunted and just foul, almost hit her on the way down to first. And Effelbauer trying to bunt her way on, but it's now 0-2. Interesting idea there. Definitely looked like she was bunting for a hit, so it's 0-2. And now, here's Mark Allen. Is he going to ask if it hit her? Because I thought it almost did. That might be what he's saying. Or not. Well,
I tell you what, as a coach, this is what you like when at least the umpires will work together. They might be asking where they're going to go to dinner, but at least they give the appearance of working together, and we appreciate that.
Even if they're working together to go to the same place for dinner, right? Yeah.
We still appreciate that.
That's good. Well, and it looks like it probably was a short discussion. I didn't think it hit her. I thought it was close. Up here, again, it's hard to tell, but I believe that's what they were talking about. So it's 0-2. Runners stay at first and second, and we'll see Heffelbauer probably swing away here, obviously, with 2 strikes. The 0-2 inside 1-2. Marty Paulman along with Winter Springs head coach Mark Wilmon here for the National Training Center in Clermont. The 2012 FHSAA softball finals on the FHSAA network, our 2A semifinal. Third of 4 games today on day 3 of the softball finals. The 1-2 swing and a miss. And what happened? They got the runner. The runner thought she's safe. I think the runner thought it was a foul ball. And Gayton ends up going to third, but the ball went back to the pitcher, and she just didn't quite get it over to third in time. It actually ends up being a stolen base. And it's a weird way. It's first and third with 2 outs, but Heffelbauer is out for the second out. Strange. I think she thought it was a foul tip, and the catcher actually, or the Heffelbauer acted like it was, so maybe she threw off her own runner. Here's Sarasoni.
You get to see that occasionally. I don't know if Sarasoni's ever going to see. They're trying to fake the girl out.
And they are.
They're trying to fake her out first.
The old hidden ball trick.
Hello, University of Miami.
Yeah, the College World Series, right? Against Wichita State. Sarasoni. What? Yeah. That's right. Sarasoni took the pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. That was interesting. Everyone sold it. The third baseman, the left fielder, the catcher, the shortstop.
That was very well scripted.
Maybe they thought after Gayton, the way she went to third, they could catch her sleeping. But not that time. She was ready. Sure, Coach Richard said, hey.
Yeah. He was right there telling her what to do.
Right down there at third base.
I'm pretty sure, though, Emily would not see a strike.
She did inside the park home run last inning to make it 3-0. Again, they'll throw to third. As the count is 1-1. 1 for 3 today is Sarasoni. There's Coach Rich Hart. And the 1-1. A little bit outside, and it's now 2-1. First and third, 2 outs as Sarasoni hit one to the right center field gap last inning, came all the way around to score to make it 3-0. That's where our score stands here in the top of the 6th. In for a strike, and it's 2-2.
It's usually a pretty good pitch to hit right there. I think Emily might not think they're going to pitch to her either.
2-2 with 2 outs and 2 on. We're on the top of the 6th. On the pitch. Chopped up the middle, and Green knocked it down. She couldn't come up with it. And a run will score to make it 4-0 as Kadeja Glenn there at second was able to get in front of it, but she couldn't make a throw when the run scores with 2 outs. That's a big one.
Yeah,
that Pine Castle had to learn.
That was possible because Mark started the girl with a 2-2 count. So if she gets thrown out, at least he has Emily leading off the next inning. It's just that extra few feet got her safe.
Error charged to Glenn, second error of the game. Now against Munroe, first and second with 2 outs, and Becca Carr now hits, takes the first pitch for a strike. Carr is 1 for 3. So 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 here in the 6th for Pine Castle, and they now lead at 4-0. The 0-1 hit in the hole to short, and tries to make the flip to third, not in time. And maybe really didn't have much of a play at first. Sermon's in the hole, tried to quickly flip it to Jones, who was trying to come over to cover third, and everyone's safe. And now here comes Mark Allen, and once again, with his team down 4 and the bases loaded, they need an out here big time. Don't want to give up any more runs this late in the game with the way Bitterman's pitching.
We can see how important communication was on that last play. sure son they'd be yelling out the third baseman's names as she dropped back. The third baseman expected her to go across and wasn't there.
So let's see what the didn't see the officials call there. I guess that's a fielder's choice. Actually, it should be I guess a hit for Carr. I'm not sure how they remember how they score that, but the bases are loaded with 2 outs. So now you're going to face the pitcher Bitterman, who's 0 for 2 with a walk today.
Any base hit in the outfield is going to score 2. Carasoni's that fast.
And we saw that last inning with her home run. Running around the bases, going, not even hesitating at third base and coming home to score easily. So Bitterman has popped to second and to short and walked.
Must be nice to be that fast. I was never fast. I was just sudden. Never fast.
Sudden?
Sudden. It probably wasn't even that. It just sounds good.
1-0. It misses high. 2-0 is now Krabali is having some control problems. She's only, does she have a walk today? 1 walk back in the first. She's allowed now 8 hits in the game.
But you know, none of them real hard, except for Emily's. But the 2 down the line were just past the glove. Infield single a little while ago. So she's been doing a pretty good job. But it could get really out of hand right here.
2-1 the count. And the pitch is popped up. That goes into center. That's going to be trouble, and it falls for a hit. Easily scoring 2, as you said, Carasoni, no problem scoring. Bitterman goes down to second. To third is Becca Carr. And all of a sudden it's 6-0 as that ball just in the right place falls in front of Hidgeton in center field.
Carasoni looked like she almost caught Hevelblauer.
Actually, yeah, that was Cawthorn, the courtesy or the pinch runner coming to score. But yeah, you're right. She was right on her. Probably would have if she couldn't, if she was allowed to.
Just pass the baton.
And now it's 6-0. So the error kept the inning alive, and now Pinecastle adding to the lead as Richard, who's 2 for 3, takes the first pitch, 1-0. So 3 runs into the inning, and now Pinecastle leads at 6-0. All of a sudden they're starting to pull away a bit here from Munroe in this 2A semifinal. Hit down the third base line, just foul, and it's 1-1.
And while you can never relax, you have to start feeling a little bit better if you're on the 6th side. Feel a little bit better as a coach, especially with the kind of team you have on the field.
Richard has 2 singles today and a grounder back to the circle. That's hit high and foul out of play right down the left side.
Corbala really hasn't deviated from her game plan. Inside, inside, inside. It's 1-2. You might expect her to go out with this one.
Runner still at second and third. Here's the pitch.
There it is.
A little bit off that one outside.
Trying to get her fish.
And now it is 2-2. Infield in at first and third again. The 2-2.
That's
high.
a nice pitch.
Just missed high though, and it's 3-2. So it's full again. On deck is Casey Gerhardt. Richard today with 2 singles. Part of this now 9-hit attack for Pinecastle. And there's ball 4. So maybe being a little bit careful that time was Corbali. That's her first walk, though, since the first inning. Only 2 walks today. Actually 3. She had 1 in the third. 3 walks for Corbali, who has struck out 3. And now the 9th hitter of the inning, it's Casey Gerhardt. She's 1 for 3, doubled in the 4th inning. And a chance to really break this game open with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And again, high, 1-0. You wonder if Corbali getting a little tired at this point.
It's a lot like baseball, you notice. When the pitcher starts getting the ball up, they are starting to get a little tired. He's probably well over 100 pitches at this point.
Fouled off, and it's 1-1.
Unlike baseball, though, they can come back pretty quickly.
Yeah, I've noticed. That's why softball teams can play in tournament play 2 and 3 games in a day, and it doesn't really put any stress on your pitcher.
When we were fortunate enough, I would say fortunate to play against Kelsey Dunn, we took her to 17 twice, and she just got better. Regional finals, we didn't put a runner on base after the 6th inning.
Wow. 2-1 the count. Now to Gerhardt. And that is a little bit outside. Now it's 3-1. Nowhere to put her. It's Caniglio on deck. There's a helicopter. Three and 1.
Oh.
And that's outside for ball 4, and the run will score. Bases loaded walk. Gets an RBI for Gerhardt, and it's 7-0. Now this game getting a little bit away from Munroe here in the top of the 6th. There is a hospital nearby here, the National Training Center complex. I believe that's what that was. That was the helicopter
medevac
coming overhead. Yep. So 10th batter of the inning, it's Shelby Caniglio. 4 runs are in. The bases remain loaded with 2 outs.
Well, you know there's a great place for Doc Richardson because he's got softball here and a hospital over there.
Got a track down there as well that they use. They have tennis courts here at the National Training Center. And the hospital as well. Doc Richardson, one of the greatest softball players in the history of this country. 1-0 up high, and it's 2-0. 2-time gold medalist.
Mm-hmm. I got the opportunity to hear her speak one time, and she's a very, very bright woman. Knowledgeable in all kinds of things.
Now she does TV work. 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. She will be on with the Bright House crew as they will bring in the championship games. Played at UCLA and has settled here in Central Florida for many years. 2-1. Is fouled off to the left out of play. It's 2-2. It's a pretty good ambassador to have for softball here in your in this area. Disappointed to see the Summer Olympics taking softball and baseball out. Hopefully that will change by 2016.
They're trying to put some weird ones in. I just saw the other day and I couldn't believe it, so I got rid of it from my memory.
It's ball 3 up high, and now Caniglio with one more will walk another run in.
Yeah, we have the USSSA Pride, the pro women's team is in Central Florida too, and Ashley Charters came by and has been visiting lots of teams in Central Florida to just kind of get their name out.
And ball 4, and Corbali is having some problems. 3 walks in a row, and she can tell she may be getting a little bit tired, but don't know if Munroe has anywhere else to go at this point. It's now 8-0 as Bitterman will score. 5 runs now into the inning. The base is still loaded with 2 outs. And now Alex Thomas scheduled to hit.
2 more runs would make this a 5-run rule with Munroe still able to hit.
Which we going into this inning, you didn't think was going to happen. It was 3-0. This was a scoreless game until the 4th. Pinecastle got 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th on the inside of the park, home run by Carasoni, and then all of a sudden here in the 6th, 5 runs on 4 hits and 3 walks, and also an error.
Yeah. A lot of times with the experience that Pinecastle has, especially with, I guess, 7-year seniors, that, you get up there and you just keep plugging away, and it's going to happen.
And this is Alex Thomas, who singled twice, driven in a run, and scored a run today. Takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I got to look at the Summer Olympics list. That's coming up in London, but yeah, they did add some interesting sports. I don't think they added golf. Maybe they added golf.
It was, it might have been, but there was some weird, though, something that didn't even sound like a sport. Spinning garbage bags or something like that.
Fouled back to the screen. It's 0-2. That one I have to check out.
The
Spinning
smaller
garbage
countries.
bags.
I don't know. Because we were so dominant in softball, but not in baseball. The Cubans are really good.
Well, the U.S. has won before, made it to the finals. We had Cuba's very good. Swing and a miss, strike 3, but the U.S. has definitely dominated in softball. Hope to see that return, and probably by the next Olympics. As the inning is over, Pinecastle sends 11 to the plate. They pick up 5 runs on 4 hits. There was 1 error. There were also 3 walks in the inning. And in the end, there were also 3 runners left on base. And now go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 8-0 Pinecastle Christian leading Munroe in this 2A semifinal here on the FHSAA network. Brought to you from the National Training Center here in Clearmont, the 2012 FHSAA softball finals.
One of the differences in the college game, now the National Federation, which oversees us, and the state federations is trying to make everything as equal to the college game as possible. That's why we pitch from 43 feet, and the bats and the compression on the balls are the same. But in college softball, the game would be a run rule at 8-0.
That's right. It's an 8-run rule, and I believe it used to be that way in high school. Is that maybe it's always been 10? I might be mistaken on that. But it is 8 on the college level. And now this year they've added the 15 runs after 3 innings.
Yep, and we had that in high school this year. Or maybe that's
high
what
school.
you said, right?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, high school softball. And we saw one of those earlier today with Grandview Prep, who will play the winner of this game, looking like Pinecastle Christian at this point. But Grandview Prep, a team back-to-back state finalists, haven't got that state title yet, lost last year in the 7th inning. But they were impressive today and have been another impressive team at the 2A level out of Boca Raton.
And these smaller teams with the good pitching can challenge even the bigger teams. We've seen evident from Pinecastle and the 8A teams they've beat this year, and the teams that were in 7A that were close games, like Aquinas and Prep, Gulliver Prep, a traditionally powerhouse with Coach Schusterman.
We'll see Gulliver Prep coming up later in the week.
Yeah. They have kids that are tremendous hitters. They beat us 5-3 in the Kissimmee Classic. Scored 2 doubles in the first, but then we went up 3-1, and then they just hit the ball hard.
Chopped up the middle. Nice play by Bitterman on the ground ball up the middle by Sermons. And it gets all the way up, extending up to make the play to first in time for the first out. Gulliver Prep will play on Sunday, Mother's Day, against Bishop Moreau. That should be a heck of a game in 4A.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Gulliver Prep's pitcher, it was like playing against Tom Glavin.
Ooh.
They are
lefty?
Well, she's a righty, but I'm trying to think of a righty like that. But
yeah,
she didn't throw 55, but she kept it out and in, and just we didn't make a ground ball out till the 6th inning, and that's not how we play.
Corbali grounds at the 2nd. Richard makes a quick play on the 1st. Quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now Mary Pat Thomas, the left fielder, bats for Munroe. Yet Tom Glavin never known for his speed. And really, to be honest, neither was Greg Maddox.
No, they struck people out, and they won games, and they got ground balls, and they just messed you up, put you on your front foot.
And I will admit, as a Braves fan, I enjoyed watching those teams, and I still enjoy watching guys like Hudson and those guys for the Braves. But you're never going to probably see a staff like that again. That Smoltz did throw hard. John Smoltz came with the gas. Then you had Maddox and Glavin, who were just kind of, they'd strike you out, and they just kind of nibble.
I think the only thing close to that now might be the Phillies when they're healthy.
Well, yeah, when they've got Halliday and Hamels. And Halliday throws hard.
Lee.
But he can throw everything. Cliff Lee doesn't throw very hard, but he can throw everything. 0-2 is the count to Mary Pat Thomas, who's 0 for 2 today, the left fielder.
We could ask Bryce Harper how fast Cole Hamels throws.
Out the end of the bat. And in time, easy play for Richard again, and Munroe quickly goes 1-2-3 into 6th.
I think that was 4 pitches, wasn't it?
That was. As Munroe grounds out 1-3, 4-3, and 4-3. So we go to the 7th, and Pinecastle Christian is 3 outs away from moving on now to the 2A state championship game. They lead Quincy Munroe 8-0. And Bryce Harper, I don't know if that was an answer to the stealing of home.
I think that, well, he did steal home because of that.
Because of that, that's right. He hit him first. Hamels hit him, and he hit him right in the back with a fastball. He got him.
Sure did.
And that might have been welcome to the big leagues, rookie. You're 19 years old, and
have a little more respect.
Exactly. And I have to admit, it's I got a chance to go see Steven Strasburg in his first game. I was in D.C. and visiting friends, and boy, a lot of excitement up there about baseball. And then he got hurt, and you kind of felt bad for him. Now they got him and Bryce Harper, and the Nationals looking like they're becoming more relevant.
Don't they have another young pitcher too that's pretty good?
Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah.
So the Nationals in first place. They're with the Braves and the National League East. The Phillies are falling off a bit because, well, the Phillies might be getting a little bit older now, but they still have the pitching staff.
Yeah. But Utley's out, and so is Howard, right?
Yeah, that's where the age might be catching up to him a little bit. But gotta love baseball season. You know, we're winding down on the high school level, but we're only about a month into Major League Baseball. And college baseball will head into the postseason here coming up beginning of June.
We always love the metaphor of softball, baseball. It's rebirth every year. Every team is in first place at the start of the year.
That's the good thing about spring training. You can always, and I could say also as a Cubs fan,
that makes Cubs fans
usually
really
spring
happy.
training is about the only time you can have that feeling because about the first month of the season they're about out of it. We go to the top of the 7th, and here we'll have this was Gerhardt, but it looks like we're going to have a hitter for her. This will be Maya M, number 2, will bat the lead off the top of the 7th. And we also have a new right fielder, Zipra Harrell.
Yeah, Miami's a 6th grader.
She's hitting in the 8th spot.
Coach Richard calls her the next Emily Carasoni.
Wow. Well, that's
high
something
praise.
to live up to. There's a ball 1-0 on the first pitch. Boy, she's got something to live up to there.
No kidding. No pressure at all on that.
1-0 the count. And down the middle for a strike, 1-1.
But from a lot of the coaches I met, Mark would be able to nurture that in a positive way. So if she's going to be that, she certainly has a good person to help her get there.
And outside, it's 2-1. And looking at more of Emily Carasoni's stats, struck out twice all year. 13 times she struck out in 7 years at the varsity level.
I did that my first 14 at bats.
2-1 is fouled off to the right out of play, and it's 2-2 over near our truck again. Now I'm smelling popcorn. 2-2 the count. Be heading to get some food in between games here as we get ready for what should be a barn burner tonight. As that misses a little bit high, 3-2, and the crowd has been filing in too. To get ready for that game. And then originally it's supposed to start at 7, but because of our delays today, I don't know when we'll look to get started, but it might be probably about 8:15 or so at this point.
It only rains in the spring during the state championships, and it only rains in the fall during
Oh, there's the ball that gets past
the start of football season.
the second baseman, Glenn. That's true. Between May and September, basically. We'll see if they give her a hit there. As it gets past the second baseman, I think that will be a hit.
She misplayed it, just misjumped it. It's time to jump.
So Am gets to first base, and here is Heffelbauer, the left fielder. 0 for 2 with a walk. Well, we were talking today about the first 2 years we had the finals here in Clermont. Until the last day of the second year last year, we didn't have a drop of rain, no delays, and then last year a big storm, 4-hour delay before the Niceville-Bartow game. And then the first 3 days here this year, it's just been raining on and off. So you just never know here in Florida. Bunted by Heffelbauer off to the right out of play. It's 1-1.
My tomato plants are happy about that.
Don't get me wrong. The state of Florida needs the rain. I mean, except for maybe South Florida. They've been getting it for about 2 weeks straight. But
We could wait another 2 weeks.
I tell you, where I live in Gainesville and up in the Jacksonville area where I'm from, it's rained this week. It hadn't rained probably in about 2 or 3 weeks before that, and it's dry. It's dry down here in Central Florida as well. The 1-1 is fouled back, and it's now 1-2 to Heffelbauer as Carasoni is on deck again.
That's another play you don't see in baseball unless Ichiro's doing it. She squared the bunt, then pulled back and tried to slash it down the line because you had the third baseman coming in hard. And, of course, when the infield's moving and you hit it hard on the ground, you have a better chance of it getting through.
1-2 misses outside, and the count's even. Now 2-2.
But it can be very painful for a third baseman.
And outside for ball 3. 8-0 our score here in the top of the 7th. 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and then 5 in the 6th. for Pine Castle Christian.
And the row will be going with a full count and 2 outs.
And the 3-2 on the way is hit down the left field line, just fouled by Heffelbauer. And out of play, it remains full 3-2. And again, we will see Carasoni on deck.
Munroe would be happy if she just stayed there.
Well, fortunately, there's nobody out.
Oh, yeah.
So, unless they pinch hit for her. Popped up, and that's going to get over by the dugout out of play. I was thinking that too, and then I looked at the scoreboard. And wait, there's nobody out. She's had 1 hit today, but that was inside the park home run. Reached it on air in the 6th and scored. Heading to Auburn. 3-2. Popped up again. That's going to get out of play over on that first third base dugout, and it remains full.
Inside, inside, inside.
Heffelbauer is
inside in a row.
battling Haley Corbally here. Corbally taking her time here. Now back on the rubber. And the 3-2 is hit softly again, foul over by the dugout. She's pelting the dugout with foul softballs right now.
The 9th pitch of the at-bat.
Grandview Prep, they've been done for a while, and I see that their athletic director, Joe Dawson's around. Popped into left field. That's trouble. That's going to go all the way to the fence and follow the warning track as Maya Am will come home to score. It's 9-0, and it's an RBI double for Heffelbauer, her first hit of the day.
That was from the number 9 hitter, the bottom of the fence.
And she came in today hitting 207, but that's her 7th RBI of the year. She hit that ball well. So back to the top of the order in Carasoni. I mentioned Carasoni 1 for 4. She scored 2 runs, had an inside the park home run. 9-0 the score. And that is hit number 12 now for Pine Castle Christian.
She'll be wearing the orange and blue of the Auburn Tigers next year. Our Plainsmen are War Eagles.
Plainsmen, War Eagles, Tigers, all 3. They are. Hit the center. That's going to get over the head of the center fielder all the way to the wall. As you can tell, Ramsey Hidgen misjudged that from the beginning. Carasoni to third, and scoring is Heffelbauer, and it's 10-0. And right when that ball was hit, Hidgen went 1 step in, and you could tell she knew it was hitting over her head to the warning track in center.
Those are absolutely the hardest ones, the ones right at you. And, even though we always teach them first step back, it's hard to do when you think it's a sinking liner.
Still nobody out, and 2 runs are in the 7th. Carasoni goes to third with nobody out. It's 10-0. And Becca Carr hits it just foul off third base. It's 0-1. Carr with 2 singles and a run scored. She's 2 for 4. 13 hits now in the game for the Eagles. They have hoarded on from the 4th inning on. And up high, it's 1-1. Reminder to stay tuned again for our 6A semifinal coming up between Niceville and New Galley. As the 1-1 is hit to short, and the runner will score as the throw comes home. Our throw goes to first. The play made by Sermons, but it's an RBI for Carr on the ground out. And it's 11-0 as Carasoni scores. So 3 more runs in the inning for the Eagles, and now they are making this one look easy. Not going to be a run rule game. We'll play the full 7, but they have dominated from the 4th inning on.
Putting on cruise control a little bit. It all started with that check swing double down the line.
That was the first run of the game. That was by Alex Thomas back in the fourth. Just fair. They got another run in the inning on a throwing error by the first baseman for Munroe, Brannaman, and then the inside the park homer by Carasoni in the fifth inning, and then in the sixth, 3 walks in a row with the bases loaded. Helped bring in 5 runs, and now 3 more here in the seventh. Well, they almost hit for the cycle. Single, double, and triple in a row. Hit down the left field line or in fair territory. The play is made out there on the run by Mary Pat Thomas for out number 2. So Bitterman flies out to left for the second out. Always wanted to see that. This hit for the cycle in order. Single, double, triple, home run.
Well, there's a lot of wind coming in from that side. Look
Yeah.
good coming off the bat.
We've only seen 1 home run this week so far, and that was from Auburndale yesterday in the 5A semifinal game. It was hit by Megan Lindell, the catcher. And even though Lafayette and Jay combined for 21 runs yesterday, there were no home runs in that game. 1-1 now to Lissa Richard. She is singled twice and walked, 2 for 3. One misses, 2-1.
The 2A state championship game tomorrow. Sounds like it might be a high-scoring one, but
Yeah, better bring your scorecards. The bats are going to be here, I think,
sometimes those turn out to be
as the drive to left field is called.
1-0 games.
That's true. Mary Pat Thomas makes the catch in left, and Richard flies out for the third out in the seventh. 3 more runs in the inning for the Eagles on 3 hits. No errors, and there was nobody left on base. And we go to the bottom of the seventh. Pinecastle Christian 11 and Quincy Munroe nothing in this 2A softball semifinal here on the FHSAA network. So we will get ready for tomorrow's 2A championship game. And Coach Wilhelman will be back with us tomorrow as well for those 2 games in 4A and 7A, or pardon me, 2A and 6. I'm looking ahead already. 2A and 6A, but it will be Grandview Prep, who won 19-2 earlier today, playing against Pinecastle Christian. And these are 2 teams with Grandview Prep finalists the last 2 years in 1A. It lost 1-0 in 8 innings last year to Canterbury. Lost to Eaglesview 5-2 2 years ago. And they will still looking for that first state softball title, and then Pinecastle Christian will be looking for their 4th state championship since 2006. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that should be a good game. Canterbury's a really good team too, very well coached.
Yeah, Canterbury this year was knocked out in the regional final by Grandview Prep. Well, that's an interesting regional final. Talk about they call it the group of death,
Yeah,
the region of death there. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Pinecastle will be 23-7 with this win, and Grandview Prep winning today at 19-2 over Sheridan Hills Christian. They'll be 21-5. .6A final tomorrow night. Pembroke Pines Charter will play the winner of our upcoming game between Niceville and Ugali. Anna Jones swings and misses. She struck out twice today as Bitterman takes a little bit off a changeup, and it's 0-1.
Pembroke Pines is from down south, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw them play. They played the Kissimmee Classic too, I believe. And they're good.
This is a little low 1-1 out of Broward County. The Jaguars, they're 21-4. Good performance today by their pitcher, Christina Sacramento. Great name, number 80, Sacramento. And in for a strike, 1-2. As she got the win today with a shutout of Lakewood Ranch. They're making their first appearance with the Mustangs of Lakewood Ranch in the state semis. 1-2 is a little bit again taken off and popped to first base. Easy play over there for Audrey Smith. Another nice changeup. We've seen a few of those from Bitterman, and that is 1 out in the 7th. And she has retired as Kaylee Bitterman. Now 4, 7, 10, 11 in a row. She gave up back-to-back singles in the 3rd. really has settled down. Allowed only 3 hits as she has gone all the way to the 7th with 1 walk. That coming in the 2nd inning. And now 7 strikeouts. She had 2 strikeouts in each the 3rd and 4th and 5th innings. 0-1 now to Ramsey Hidgton, who's walked and popped to 3rd. On the outside corner, and it's quickly 0-2.
Kaylee's working the head real well this inning, just trying to get the outs. Nothing fancy, just get the outs.
Sun begins to set here in Clermont. A little bit inside, 1-2. A lot of folks from Niceville wearing the T-shirts, swing and a miss. They'll throw it around. Another strikeout for Bitterman. That's her 8th of the game. Now 2 outs and 1 more out to go for Pinecastle Christian. Niceville with a good crowd here. See the O'Galley folks as well. Niceville parents wearing the state championship shirts. Oh, wow. So here we go with a pinch hitter. My goodness. This is Logan Sunday. She is 4'10", a 6th grader. Takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Oh, my goodness.
Kind of have to cheer for her here.
You do. You really do. Look at her. It's 1-0. Infield is in. And there's a ball, 2-0. Maybe the umpire is going to help her out here too a little bit as pitch misses outside. It almost looks like the bat is bigger than her, but and what could they be meeting about? The catcher, as Keith points out, is Casey Gerhardt on her knees, is taller than Sunday. 5'7" is Gerhardt, and she kind of had a smile on her face, and I wonder if they almost may walk her here, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I think they are. That's ball 3. That's neat. Well,
yeah, it was outside.
You call it a strike? No, nope, it's 3-0. That might be what they're doing here. Look at that bat, man. And now she throws a strike right down the middle. It's 3-1. And Coach Mark Allen telling her, hey, swing away if it comes in there. You're the last out. Nice to see. 3-1 is in for a strike, 3-2. So now 1 more strike to go for Kaylee Bitterman. And here's the pitch. And called strike 3. Well, she got a chance to hit there.
She got a chance to be in the state tournament.
She did.
Take that away from her.
Bitterman comes back to strike out Logan Sunday, and that'll end the game. Bitterman ends up with 9 strikeouts. And that is your ball game as Pinecastle Christian rolls to an 11-0 win over Quincy Munroe. And you see the stat there, 63-1, and they've outscored their 5 playoff opponents. The only run they allowed against Central Florida Christian in the district championship game, and that means it's 52-0 in their 4 regional games. So they'll play a Grandview Prep team tomorrow that has scored 53 runs in the postseason. But you're right, it might be 1-0. Who knows?
Might be.
Well, 11 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Pinecastle Christian Eagles. They will improve to 23-7. And for Quincy Munroe, their first appearance in the FHSAA state semifinals. Their season ends at 15-7, no runs, 3 hits, and 3 errors as Kaylee Bitterman improves to 14-5 with a win. If you like a DVD of this game or any game in the 2012 FHSAA softball finals, be sure to go to FHSAAsports.com. That's FHSAAsports.com. Our final in our second 2A semifinal, it's Pinecastle Christian 12 and Munroe nothing. And pardon me, 11-0 the final. For a whole crew here in Clearmont, I'm Marty Palman. Thanks to Coach Mark Wilmot for joining me. He'll be back with me for the second 6A semifinal. For our entire crew here in Clearmont, I'm Marty Palman. Thanks so long. This has been a production of Play On Sports on the FHSAA Network. See you soon for the 6A semifinals.